Hi there, welcome to the second episode of my story, The Ride. I hope you enjoyed the first episode, but if you haven't listened to that one yet, please check my previous post and listen, and please don't forget to leave a comment. Now let's go to the second episode. I bet you'll love this one. The Ride episode 2. I had just gotten off the phone with Ada. She did not meet the cutoff mark for Unilag as well, but she had applied for a diploma program in Nigerian University in Anambra State. She wrote the entrance examination a day before the call and was certain that it would be a piece of cake for me. She had called me twice that day to inform me that the second batch of the exam would be holding in a week's time and wanted to know if she should purchase the form for me. Ada did not get it. My mom would never allow me school in the East. The time I informed her that Ada was going to take the diploma examination in Nigerian University, she went on for hours and days on how silly it was for anyone who has lived all her life in Lagos to resort to studying in the East, a very remote part of Nigeria. In her own words, she said she did not understand what kind of educational development anyone would get from studying there. In a weird way, her discomfort about the idea made me really want to school there. So I came up with a plan with Ada. We agreed that Ada's mom would come sell the idea to my mom. Ada's family weren't as wealthy as mine, but they were quite comfortable. Her mom was nothing like the women my mom usually looked down on when we attended our village meetings or church services. She was strong and confident. She understood her worth and wore it on her shoulder like a chip. So I figured she was the final piece to the puzzle. 3 days later, I bought my diploma form and traveled to the East the next day. The examination was not until 4 days' time, but my mom felt it was wise for me to go early to familiarize myself with the environment. I was to stay in my aunt's place in Amobia. We were both going to study banking and finance. I had always loved the finance world. I wanted to be the Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala of my time. As for Ada, she did not care about the course. She said she was going to run a business after school, so she picked banking and finance because of me. Anyway, I went to Anambra with 10 years jam-packed questions and immediately began studying as our flight left Lagos. It was until I landed at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, also known as Enugu Airport, that it dawned on me that I was out of my mother's sight, and I wanted to scream, to dance, to show the world how happy I was. But I just silently walked to meet up with my aunt, who was obviously tired of waiting for me. My dad had called her all through my journey to the East. He made her wait for me at the airport from the time we departed Lagos. He did not want anything to happen to his little girl. When I broke the news to my dad that I had purchased the form for a diploma program into NAU, like he loved calling it, he was more excited than I expected. He said that he had always wanted me to learn Igbo language and not all this Americana English that I had been speaking. As I drove down to Oka in Auntie Chika's lemon green Mercedes-Benz 300 diesel car, I just kept on looking out of the window. I wanted to absorb everything about the journey. The red sand, the beggars that sat at the side of the road, the rowdy bus parks we passed, everything. She stopped at Oji village to buy okpa as she teased me about how my tummy would rumble after a full day's meal at her apartment. She didn't know I didn't care about the kind of food I ate. I was happy enough. I was leaving my mom for good. When we got home, I called my dad to inform him that I had arrived Oka safely, and he asked if I had picked up any Igbo word. I muttered the word, "No, welcome," in the lowest tone ever because I was not sure if I pronounced it well, and my aunt had teased me enough for one day. Auntie Chika was my dad's only surviving sibling. They had lost their 2 brothers to the sickness my dad had called Imantu, the pin sickness. He told me that it was very common in Anambra State when he was a child. He said that if a family didn't like another family, they would throw pins at their children, and because of the poor healthcare system in Anambra State at the time, people ended up dying from it. He said that the only ones who survived were the ones who visited Dibia's native doctors for medications, but his father was too learned and nice in the Catholic Church to visit a Dibia. It certainly didn't make sense to me, but I just kept nodding as he told me the story. Each time my dad came home, he would take my little sister and I to his room and tell us tales of his childhood. I loved to listen to his stories, even though a lot of it did not make sense to me. But I would nod and nod until sleep carried me away. My mom hated it when my dad told us stories. She always said he was trying to inflict his bush childhood in us. So she would take my little sister away from the room to the kitchen or her dressing room, anywhere but the presence of my dad. I guess that was another reason why she did not like me, because I never wanted to leave my dad's side. I would cry and cry till she realized how much of a waste of time it was trying to take me away. So she stopped trying, and as time went on, it became a family ritual. Once my dad came back from his trip, I'll become the unwanted guest in his room until he left, and sometimes my mom had to sleep in my sister's room. The bed was really big, so I did not see anything wrong in that. Soon enough, sides were picked. I was for my dad, and my younger sister, my mom. The sad thing was that my dad never stayed long enough for me to have a truly happy childhood. So every time he left, I would try to win my mother's attention. But it felt like each attempt made my chances of getting closer to her slimmer than the last. My mom was at every society wedding, and she took my sister with her. Every outfit she bought for herself, my sister had a replica of it. She said my sister had to look like a child, so she would buy expensive materials and sew really lovely outfits for her. My sister got new shoes every other day. As time went on, I saw myself drifting to envy and jealousy of my sister. I did not like it because my sister was only a child and was not aware of what was going on. So one day, I tried to talk my mom into taking me with her to one of the weddings she attended. As soon as I uttered my request, I realized it was a bad decision. My mom laughed really loudly, as though I had cracked a joke. And she said to me, "You had better fly to Abuja and attend the wedding with your dad, useless child." Then she walked into her room. I slowly became a stranger in my own home, and my dad's visit was my only escape route. To be continued. Like this episode, I would appreciate it if you would share it with a friend, family member, or colleague. Share your thoughts on this article. I would love to hear from you. This is another article from Talk to Your Homie. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.